Hey guys, this is just a tutorial to show you how to create a young to old portrait in Photoshop. So what you need to do first is set up a new A4 document. So I'm in Photoshop, I'm going to go to File and New, and I'm going to click on the Print tab along here. I'm going to select A4 and I'm going to call my portrait, my file name, Young to Old. Okay, I'm going to click Create. Okay, so what I need to do first is open up my young image. So you can download the young and the old image for this tutorial off Schoology in our editing folder, in the portraiture folder. So once you've done that, you can then go to File and Open. I'm going to scroll down and find the young face. And that opens that image. Now what I need to do is I need to actually drop and drag that into my A4 template that I've created. So I'm going to click on the Move tool, which is this top one up here in your tool palette. I'm going to click and hold down, so I'm still holding down the key to drag and drop once you get this little icon, and then you can move it around and adjust it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to transform it so that it's larger and fits more of the page. So I'm going to go Control T and I'm going to resize the image holding down the Shift key to keep it in proportion to about there. That's good. Once I've done that, I'm going to click Enter and that will make the size adjustment. What I need to now do is to set up some rulers so that I can actually make changes when I'm putting the old face over the top. So what I'm going to go to is to View, and I'm going to click on Rulers, and what you'll get is a ruler that comes up at the top and a ruler that comes up on the left hand side. So I'm going to just click on the ruler bar, so up the top, and I'm going to drag down. I'm going to put a guideline in the middle of the eyes, one at the bottom of the nose, and one in between in the middle of the lips. And then I'm going to go over to the left hand side one and put one in the middle of the eyes again. I might actually bring this one up slightly. And I'm also going to put one in the center of the nose. Okay, so I've got my rulers on there. They're going to help me align my second face. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open the old face. This one here. Okay, and same thing, I'm going to drag with my Move tool and drop onto this young face image. Now, what I need to do so that I can actually see where I'm aligning it, I need to make the opacity a little bit lighter. So that's the transparency of the image. So if you go over to here in your layers palette, you'll be able to actually change the opacity. And somewhere around 50 is fine for the moment. And once you've done that, Control T to transform. Again, start to align and see if you can get that face just to fit roughly. Don't be too worried that it's not quite exactly where it needs to be, because the next step will do more of that for you. But as long as it kind of covers most areas, again, you can make adjustments like this without holding down Shift. Okay, so something like that. Okay, so once I've done that, I'm going to press Enter. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use what we call the Warp tool to actually align the eyes and the nose and the lips. So I'm going to go up to Edit, Transform, Warp. And what this actually does is it allows me to grab a spot in the image, okay, and actually warp it. So I can actually line up again those middle of the eyes with those guidelines. Again, I might adjust my face. Okay, the nose, the lips, they don't look too bad. Again, you can play with these little toggles just to stretch it out so it goes in different places. Again, that might move these, so you kind of have to go back and fix those back up once you make other changes. Okay, alright, that looks good to me. So once I've done that, I'm going to click enter. Okay, now what I need to do is obviously need to blend them together. So I'm going to change my blending mode over here in my layers palette to multiply. And I'm going to actually put my opacity back up to 75. Okay, once I've done that, now what I need to do is actually need to mask my layer so that I can get rid of all these parts here, okay, because I only want the aged effect on the face. So what you need to do down the bottom here, you have a square with a circle in the middle of it. If you click that, that will add a layer mask, so a little white box next to that, layer 2. Now you need to make sure that your black is on top of the white in this color palette box here. And we're going to select our brush tool. And we need to make sure the opacity up here is 50 and our flow is 100. Now your brush should be on what I call a bit of a fluffy brush, okay, that way you'll get a bit more of a softer edge. So using that, you can actually use your square brackets on your keyboard. So if I press the right bracket, that makes it larger, left bracket makes it smaller. So depending on when you're working, okay, obviously the eyes and the lips, I'm going to use a smaller brush, whereas when I'm trying to get rid of these areas here, I'd use a bigger one, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in. Now if you make a mistake and you want to replace an area that you've taken too much out of, just flip these colours, okay, so the little arrow, 2 arrows here, that'll flip, and I can put back what I took away. Again, flip it back to erase, and you're going to go through and actually blend those images together. You're going to have to do it quite a few times, otherwise you can always lift up your opacity, but it's going to be a lot harsher. So I'm going to go all the way around. Obviously you guys will take longer to do this, but just for the tutorial, just to show you the basics, especially around the eyes. So again, I can bring those up. I probably need to get rid of the old eyebrows, okay, because you don't want 2 eyebrows. Alright, again, bits around the nose just to even up. You might bring up parts of the lips, that kind of thing. If you want more subtle effects, you drop the opacity. So if you just want more of a subtle blend, okay, until you're happy with it. So once you've done that, you've now created your image, and you can move the rulers out of the way if you want to see how it looks. Once you save it, the rulers will disappear anyway, but for the sake of it, I'll just quickly move those over so you can have a look. And there you go, you have a young to old portrait. So once you're finished, you can save it. Again, call it young to old portrait and save it as a JPEG. Okay, so that's done. So now you know the technique. You could use a portrait that you've taken in class. You could use a portrait from the internet. You can also use the same old face image if you want to. You might find other skin images or something like that that you might want to blend using the same process. So have a go at doing this tutorial and then have a go at doing your own version for me. Okay, bye.